Jackson, off balance three, missed it. Rebound to Stanford, glances away to Hepburn, put up and at the buzzer, and Louisville wins. I don't know how Chucky came up with that ball. We've got to see a replay. How in the world did he get that? Yes, it's official, has given Louisville a win over Stanford, 75-73.
Oway sprints up into front court, drives it down to the baseline, flips it up. Go! Kentucky! 2.5 to play. Shot from backcourt. Oh my! Oway saves the day again.
Oh my! The madness is here. Can you feel it? Can you taste it? I want more. Well, you get more. We got live action happening all over college basketball. Great games. Great games. What a fantastic day of college hoops coming your way. And it already started. It's been happening all day. We'll continue to do so up until the midnight hour. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we got a lot to discuss. This is the Daily Ticket on a Friday. Mark Henry Jr. joining me, full show here. Mark, good afternoon. What's happening, man?
It's a huge week here, obviously, with conference tournament week. I will say, everyone's hot take when they're like, is this week better than No, it's not. It's not better than next week.
Clear your throat. Clear your throat.
That's fair.
Say it with your chest. No, this week is not better than the madness next week. Come on.
Stop messing around. It's like we love to say, like, oh, is wild card weekend the best? No. We have this conversation every third month where there's a big event. Oh, is the Masters the best weekend? No. The best weekend in sports is precisely 6 days away. Okay. It is Thursday and Friday next week. You can include Saturday and Sunday if you want.
What's number two? If there's a close two, what is it?
I don't think there's a close two.
Okay.
But
opening football Sunday. That
was what
tough,
I was going to go. I was going to go first
tough.
week of NFL Sunday. That's up there. I think opening day's been watered down. It feels like it feels like it used to mean way more.
Not even the same stratosphere.
I'm trying to think what else is even in the conversation. For you guys, it's like the Masters for the golf people. I'm sure the Masters are right there for sure.
But again, it's like there's levels to it, as I often say, and nothing is better than the madness. This is a great week, though. I will tell you, like, if you made me fill out, and give you top five, I might have to put conference tournament week up there, right? Like immediately NFL opening Sunday, that is number two for me. You got to throw the playoffs in there as a divisional round. Is a championship Sunday? I would probably lean more to divisional round than anything. And then, like you said, you can get into the Masters, but conference tournament week, man, it's been hitting. It's been hitting. It always does. You get some great upsets. Unfortunately, we do have some interesting things as far as injuries are concerned with Cooper Flagg. We'll get into that a little bit. And I did bring this up, Mark, and you're the perfect guy to get into a discussion like this. And I'm not pro on this. I just know that this is the realization of where we're at with all things NIL, portal, the constant evolving of the college sports in general. And Beef came out, Ryan Beef Coyle, and he came over my tweet. We discussed it yesterday, and it was revisionist history off of Cooper Flagg being hurt. But I'm sure John Shire and the head coaches at Duke, or the coaches at Duke, had this conversation. Hey, what are our plan of action here? Do we want to play Cooper Flagg a full game here? Are we full throttle? That absolutely was discussed. I don't think, like, what else they got going on right now? They're locked into a 1 seed, number 2 overall. Like, this is the things that they're bringing to the table. Beef came over the top of my tweet from something from yesterday's show, and he said he feels like conference tournament could be in trouble somewhere in the ballpark of college bowl games. Where do you stand on that? Again, we're way, way out from any changes like that, I believe, but could be something we see down the road.
Yeah, I think it's probably limited situations. It's probably a team like Duke and Auburn that's locked into a 1 seed, which every given year there's probably 2 of those. Maybe you could argue Houston or Florida are locked in this year. I don't know. But I think that you're probably limited on the amount of situations that it could happen. But it could absolutely happen with top teams that are pretty locked into those 1 seeds. Now, where you get into it is like Iowa State. Iowa State, if they would have been knocked out in the first round of the Big 12 tourney, maybe they're a 4 seed. Maybe if they make a whole run to the Big 12 championship, maybe they're a 2 seed. So maybe there's an argument that in the future, there's some teams that are just going to be like, you know what? We're resting our guys. We don't care if we're the 4 seed instead of being a 2 or a 3 seed. We just want to be healthy, and we don't really care about this. And if we win, that's nice too. But we're going to rest, and that's going to be the priority. Maybe that happens, but I think that takes a pretty secure coach to do that. It takes a coach who feels pretty good about his position. But I think ultimately it's a conversation worth having. It might happen, but it's probably going to be pretty limited.
All right. Well, the big story of all things sports right now, front and center, has to be college basketball, with all love and respect to the NFL and free agency. We'll see what happens with Aaron Rodgers and the quarterback carousel, what happens there. Of course, the TPC at Sawgrass players is going on. We'll keep you up to date with that, but we have plenty of live action. But the big story, of course, is the number 1 overall pick. Not projected. He will be the number 1 overall pick in next year's or this summer's NBA draft. And he went down. If you missed it yesterday, of course, Duke's number 1 player, a true difference maker in the sport. You're talking about, for my money, my odds, my thoughts all season long, he was the best player, Wooden Award winner, all that and more. I'm pretty sure he's going to win the award, but it won't shock me if he does not win it due to John I. Broome, excuse me. But I will just say yesterday it was gut-wrenching when you wrote that text and you said, flag is hurt. And I looked down on my phone and I'm like, no way. If people missed it, this is how it sounded, courtesy of Duke Blue Devil Radio Network.
3, no good. Cooper Flagg has the rebound after the missed shot by Jaden Mustal.
Oh, that's not good.
And Flagg is down.
Not good.
Flagg is down and laying on his stomach. Now rolls to his back under the basket on the right side.
He went high for the rebound, landed. He's holding his left ankle. He wants help to the bench. Oh, my goodness.
Well, in the immediate moment, it looks less than ideal because he couldn't put weight on it at first. Now he's put his left foot on the floor and is trying to put some weight on the left leg. But he is limping and heavily limping as he comes off the floor.
Yeah, and the images that would come from him being wheeled to the x-ray room were just so gut-wrenching again. But he came out second half cheering on his teammates. Shire, after the game, had this to say.
I would have to be convinced by everybody in the locker room when I go back that he should play. It's not worth it. Just isn't. And again, he was swollen already. It's not about being ready to go tomorrow. That's not the most important thing for us. We got to see if we can get him right for this run that we can make in the tournament. I would have to be really convinced that we should even consider seeing if he can go tomorrow. And he may not be able to go anyway. He probably won't be able to go anyway.
Yeah, what?
But I think it's a real long shot.
All right. Yeah, that was immediately following. And I'll give Shire the benefit of the doubt. If my number 1 overall pick goes down with an injury 5 days, 6 days before the tournament gets started, my head's probably going to be
frazzled.
Yeah, a little frazzled. So, yeah, the ACC tournament, okay, let's put that on the back burner. All right, as much as Sam Ostry really wants the Maryland Terps to win it and get that banner, Duke Blue Devils, I think, have their sights set on something bigger. So let's remove that from the conversation. All right, Coach. There, let's move on. Instead, let's talk a little bit about tonight's game, though, from the standpoint of what it is without Cooper Flagg out there. Duke would be a 13.5 point favorite. Our own Julian Edlow from DraftKings Sportsbook tweeted out about 55 minutes ago, Cooper Flagg is worth 7 points to the spread, according to the trading team at DraftKings Sportsbook. They would be 13.5 point favorites. Mark Henry Jr., any interest in this matchup, now down to 6.5. And if I made you give us a play, a lean, where would you go on that?
I have a play on this one. I'm going with UNC. I'm on UNC. I got it at 7.5 this morning. I think this is the 13.5 to 7.5. I don't know if that's a big enough swing without Cooper Flagg out there. And you also meant they lost another rotation guy in Brown who separated his shoulder, probably going to be out for the year now. North Carolina really hung tough with Duke last time. They ended up losing by 13, and Duke pulled away in the end. But Carolina was up with like 6-7 minutes left in that game. Obviously, that's in Carolina, but
in Chapel Hill, yep.
Yeah, but you have to also, like we just mentioned, with the motivation factor, and Duke is locked into a 1 seed. Carolina, you win, you're in. If you win this game, you are in the tournament. No doubts, no ifs, ands, or buts. You don't have to stress on Selection Sunday. You can sit back, kick back, and relax. If you lose, you're stressing until the minute that the brackets come out at 6 o'clock on Selection Sunday. So I do think Carolina. I actually think they're going to win the game today. I think Carolina is the desperate team. They're the hungry team. I think they're playing really good basketball lately.
Plus 250 on the money line. Mark Henry Jr. says he likes that.
They're the only dog, I guess, now that I'm looking at the board that what I have. They're the only dog I have today. And I do think they're a live one. I think they can win it. And I would have liked them at plus 13.5 with Flag in there. But I like it a lot more without the best player in the country in Cooper Flag out there.
All right. Again, March Madness starts next Thursday. Well, first 4, we know it takes place on Tuesday, Wednesday. Essentially, the bracket gets going on Thursday, though. Selection Sunday going down on Sunday. And then with Duke, the situation for me, and ankles are different, and I'm not here to play doctor, and I know you don't either, but I just would assume in a perfect world that you could win a 1 versus 16 without Cooper Flag out there. So maybe the committee throws him a bone and says, all right, here's Friday, Sunday. I don't know how that works out, how that plays out, but they even will. If it's, they will, you think they'll make that happen?
I think they will. Yeah. Okay. I think you want Flag on TV if you're the NCAA. So I think you give him as much chance as you can to get back for that second round game.
I would be shocked if he's not out there for that second game on Sunday. So, and again, look, not trying to overlook 1 versus 16, especially if Flag is not able to go, but I think that they'll win that matchup. And then whoever the 8-9 winner is, man, we were looking at some of those teams in Lenardi's bracketology. There's some teams that could shake you up a little bit, including UConn, who pulled away last night against Villanova in that second half. Let's keep it moving, though. Let's talk a little bit more as far as live action right now. You just brought up that you weren't on too many dogs today. The one dog that did have my attention, 13.5 points. I know Auburn is the number 1 overall seed. I just didn't see it. And they're up by 5 with 11 seconds to go. They're going to win the game against Ole Miss. But 13.5, 12.5, I think it went off a tip. 13.5 we saw yesterday. Just thought that was one too many. So Auburn, what is your projected outlook on Auburn? And Mark, if you wouldn't mind, take us in on your handicap when it comes to college basketball as far as Mania is concerned. Do you ever lock into a team? Do you have a matchup? Like Edlo yesterday said, if 2 teams, forgive me if I don't remember. I know he said Houston. Damn it, I forget. Oh, Florida. He said if Houston and Florida are on the opposite sides of the bracket, he said he'll have them in the championship game. And I was like, okay, that's an interesting approach. Now, do you ever get locked into a team going, no matter who they have to face, I'm going to have them going to a Final Four, to a championship game, maybe winning it all?
I'm right there with Houston right now. I love Houston. I just think
you'll have them in a championship game?
I will have them winning the tournament.
Whoa!
Yeah. I will have Houston.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they're the best team in the country. Kelvin Sampson, I think, is the best coach in the country. And Pitino's right there too.
Plus 700.
Yeah, it's a shame I never got the ticket in. There was multiple times where I liked it, but each time I liked it, they had a tough opponent coming up, and I'd be like, they'd probably have to lose one of these down the stretch, and they kept winning them all. And you dive into that Houston resume, and it's hard not to be like, this is a team playing their absolute best basketball, exactly when you want it. They're number 2 in Bartorvik, number 1 on defense. And they've lost 1 game since December 1st.
What'd you say? They're number 1 in Bartorvik?
Bartorvik. It's just Ken Pom. It's a different version of Ken Pom. The reason I use Bartorvik is because if you go on the website,
is it with a B or a V?
B and then a V in the Vic.
That's the first. I've never heard this before. Ken Pom, get out the way. Bartorvik coming in.
I think Beef's a Bartorvik guy, if I'm not mistaken. But
yeah, I don't think I've ever heard Bartorvik before.
But really, it's just Ken Pom and
Bart,
allegedly
B-A-R-T, Torvik. Is Bart Torvik a man? This is a dude?
He's got a weird @ on Twitter. It's not Bart Torvik. It's like I've seen the reason I know he has a weird @ is because I've seen Beef tweet it. But if you type in Bart Torvik, Bartorvik, the reason I like it more than Ken Pom is because you can filter for dates. So if I want to say who's been the best team in the last, what's the ranking of the teams in the last month or in the last week or in the last 3 months instead of just the whole year on Ken Pom, that I can do that a little easier on Bart Torvik. And you click on it, you get a nice view of their resumes. It's a really fun website for college basketball out there. But Houston, you look at what they've done. They've lost 4 games this year. Let's go through those 4 losses. One comes on November 9th against Auburn, 74-69 on a neutral court. They lost by 5 in the second game in the country before we were eating Thanksgiving dinner. They went and played Auburn, who's now, one of the 2 to 3 best teams in the country, put up a great fight, lost by 5. November 26th, they play Alabama on a neutral court. They lose in overtime. Alabama going to be a top 2 seed. November 30th, after playing 4 games in 5 days, they lost in overtime to San Diego State. That's a bad loss, but they lost by 3 points in overtime to a team that's at least probably going to make the tournament. And then since then, they've lost 1 time since December 1st. That was a 1-point overtime loss to Texas Tech. They've lost 4 games. They haven't lost any of them by more than 5 points. So you look at, they've lost 4 games. They've lost them by a total of 14 points. I just think this Houston team, and they've shown they can win close games as well. Big 12 is not a bad conference. So they've shown they can win those close games as well. But I just think this team is not messing around. And usually Kelvin Sampson doesn't care about the Big 12 tournament. That's something classically, his teams don't do great in conference tournament play. They came out and they whooped Colorado. They've got BYU today. I really don't care what Houston does in the conference tournament. They're locked in for me. They're my champ.
Okay. What's your feeling on Auburn as far as they're right there as well? Because I know that everybody, it seems like, especially now with the flag injury more than ever, that the majority of the betting public will be all over Auburn, possibly to win it. Now, you're not getting a good price at all, but plus 350 at this point in time, I would imagine that's going to be cut down significantly over the next couple days here after these championships get done. We'll see what happens with the number there, but the books are rooting for Auburn to be upset. Do you see, like, what's their flaws, what's their weaknesses, as they just squeaked out a SEC conference game here against the Ole Miss here?
I mean, they've definitely shown some chinks in the armor for sure. I mean, today they didn't really score that much on an Ole Miss defense that has given up a ton of points. Before this game, they lost 2 in a row coming into this game, where they had lost 2 games in the year total before that. And it's also not like Houston. When they've lost, they've kind of lost pretty decisively in some of these. Texas A&M lost by 11 points. A&M led that whole game. Florida at home lost by 9 points. Florida kind of led that whole game. Obviously, Duke a close game, Bama a close game, and none of those losses are shameful in any way. But I think Auburn's another one of those teams where I think they have the best home field advantage in the country. So I think that has helped them a lot in these gauntlet of an SEC schedule at home. And obviously, you're not getting those home games in the conference or in the NCAA championship. Can they win it all? Yeah, but I don't think they're a prohibitive favorite. I don't think there is a prohibitive favorite coming into this tournament in the way that we've seen with UConn last year. I remember Baylor that one year that they played Gonzaga. I think that would have been 2021. Baylor was a pretty heavy favorite coming into that tournament that year. We've had years with pretty prohibitive top number one seeds. I don't think that's this year. I think Florida, it seems like everybody loves Florida to go and cut down the nets. I'm not there. Maybe it's the coach that's holding me back in terms of the guy that's never really been there before amongst these guys of, Bruce Pearl and Kelvin Sampson, and even Nate Oates went to a Final Four last year, if you want to throw him into the mix. And Rick Barnes has been here for 80 years. So it's tough for me to just vault Florida right in when it's kind of their first run at this with this kind of elite type team with this coach. So, and I also think you can score on Florida. I don't think that they're this elite defense that people want to make you believe.
Not a cop out, but got to see the path. Got to see the bracket.
Yeah.
Who's they're going up against. I could see Florida making a run to the Final Four. I could see them getting Elite Eight. I could see them getting to a championship game. They have some pretty good wins, especially on the road this year. That's a team that can score a bunch, play some good defense. I remember the one time I bet them, they ended up scoring like 47 points. That was great. That was unbelievable. What a great wager that was.
And you talked about the path, and it's a great point. I meant to say it with Houston. I've been checking bracketologies like a madman, trying to figure out what Houston's path's going to look like. The teams I want Houston to avoid as the two, if they can, would be Bama and St. John's. Do not, because I want one of those teams to be in my Final Four. I think those are two of the 4 or 5 best teams in the country. I believe in both of those teams. And I wouldn't love Kentucky as a 3 seed for Houston. I would still be confident. I'd still pick Houston. Kentucky, when they get rolling offensively, I don't think it matters what you're doing on the other side of the ball. They can just score 100 on you. And can they stop you? Not really, but you probably won't score 100. So I just think that Kentucky offense is one. They're so high variance. They could hang 100 on you so easily. I would not want to deal with Kentucky in a 1-game situation in the tournament with, sudden death on the line.
And I already played it, but let's run it back because it was the last game last night. This is how it sounded. Kentucky moves on in the SEC conference.
Oway sprints up into front court, drives it down to the baseline, flips it up. Oh, Kentucky! He made it. 0.5 to play. Shot from backcourt. No good. Oh, my. Oway saves the day again.
Great call. I love these college announcers absolutely going berserk on all things college hoops. They're taking on Alabama coming up here 9:30 tonight. Again, great day of hoops. Coming up next here in the SEC Conference tournament, we have Tennessee come on down. So Tennessee getting some action right here, right now, taking on Texas. The Vols are 9.5-point favorites. We do have some live action that we'll update. We'll hit on a lot of college basketball over the next segment as well with Mark Henry Jr. He's hanging out till 4 o'clock. Once again, it's a daily ticket on a Feel Good Friday. Until you start talking about the 76ers. Quick change real quick, because I mean this. They don't deserve an ounce. They don't deserve a breath. They don't deserve eyeballs. Like guys like Sean Bernard and the diehard Sixer fans that cover it. No, I just stop. Don't cover this team anymore because this franchise is just a disaster. And I'm being nice by using that word right here, right now. They just, first of all, this morning, now I'll take you back to Wednesday because that's where it really started to bother me in the game against Toronto. And people are going to sit here and tell me, but yeah, this is what it's all about. They need to tank. They need to lose. This is what they should be doing. That's well and good. But how the hell do we get here? This is insane. On Wednesday night, Mark, who the hell are these guys? Who are these guys that are playing for the 76ers right now? I got a guy wearing 65, a white guy named Reese, Alex Reese out there. Who the hell is this guy? I got Justin Edwards out there. Oubre did start. Lonnie Walker come on down halfway through the season. Who are these guys? Again, it's just insane. They just signed another guy today. I can't even pronounce his name. They're just trying to fill in these holes to get through a season. And this is our Philadelphia 76ers, a team that we're supposed to live and die with, the team that we have lived and died with. And then now all of a sudden you're rolling this trek out here. Today, this morning, the injury report. Again, they got a game tonight. They're playing this season until April 13th. Andre Drummond, questionable. Justin Edwards, I just talked about you, questionable. Embiid out, George out, Gordon out, Quentin Grimes questionable, Kyle Lowry out, Maxey out, McCain out, Oubre questionable. At least Oubre we know. This is what we got going on right now. This is insane. I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday, Mark. And I don't want to go back and forth about the process because it's over. It's done. It's time to move on. And Daryl Morey has drafted well, but I just don't see how you could bring him back. This is just too much of just shocking of where we're at right now for this Sixers organization to either bring back one or the other. Like, you have to, somebody's got to take the fall. And I don't know if it's enough for Nick Nurse. And I just look at a guy like Daryl Morey, and he's up there at the Sloan Conference, and people could have their takes on it. That's fine. It doesn't really bother me because that's Daryl Morey's way. But he's talking about how he involves ChatGPT to make decisions. This team is a disgrace. Like, we are a laughing stock right now. And you got this team going out there. We have season ticket holders spending money to own tickets to go see this dreck. Like, I feel for the people that were like, you know what? I love the 76ers. I'm going to go and support them. I'm going to buy season tickets at the beginning of the year. And then now here you are on March the 14th with gigantic egg all over your face. It's unbelievable how we have gotten here, Mark. You know what was real? And this is what I was talking about with my friend yesterday. He said, you know what's funny is you got Drew Holiday still in the league playing at a potentially high level.
There's a challenge flag coming.
Not this year, but Drew Holiday balled last
year. Not on Drew. I get where this is going.
Andre Iguodala, Steph Curry, when Iggy's jersey went up to the rafters, did you hear what Steph had to say about Iggy?
Did you? I don't want to go down this road.
You don't have to, because we understand the process. People want to believe, and Joel Embiid was a great run, but it's just a disaster. It's just funny. That's all. Like, it's not anything to argue about. It's not to say that I disagree with the moves that took place, but it is a little ironic at the end of the day that we have guys that are still playing and we got rid of. Remember, the big thing was, they're not good enough. We can't get out of the second round, when all we did was second round after second round after second round after second round. Drew Holiday's still in the league.
To be fair, it wasn't.
Steph Curry came out and said that they at Golden State did not know how to become champions until Andre Iguodala came. Are you kidding me? Kick a man when he's down. We could go on. How about James Harden still playing at the level he is this year?
There, I'm with you. I'm with you on the Harden stuff.
And then Daryl Morey. No, hang on, because I know you're going to disagree, and this isn't about debate. We're not debating. Like, we can agree on this. It was a disaster, or wasn't a disaster, excuse me. It was a time to try something new, and they did. But isn't it funny when you do think about these things in that light where James Harden is still balling, but Daryl Morey, remember the guy that brought him here, and then all of a sudden, James Harden going, you know what? Yeah, I'm not playing for that you-know-what anymore, because that guy, he's a liar. But yeah, we're going to still hang on to Daryl Morey. James Harden's balling with the Clippers, throwing up crazy numbers. Oh, by the way, I'm not done.
They should have paid James.
I'm not done. Josh Harris owns the Commanders. The Washington Commanders. And he owns the 76ers. This franchise is a disgrace. This franchise is disgusting. Sell the team, fire everybody, start fresh. And now I'll bring you in because what did you tell me today?
What did I? Oh, that I don't watch the team. They've ruined the NBA. Yeah, but what I will say is,
yes,
the Sixers organization being a dumpster fire is not only a post-process situation. The process happened because they were a dumpster fire. If we just want to,
Bynum was the
pre-Bynum. If we want to just run through the year-by-year wins here, 03-04, 33 and 49, 04-05, 43 and 39, 05-06, 38 and 44, 06-07, 35 and 47, 07-08, 40 and 42, 08-09, 41 and 41, 09-10, 27 and 55, 10-11, 41 and 41, 11-12, 35 and 31, 12-13, 34 and 48. And that's when the process started. So what
was the year that they lost to the Bulls and the Celtics? Or they beat the Bulls and then lost to the Celtics in 7 games?
Yeah, they went 41 and 41 that year.
Yeah.
That was the biggest fraud thing of all time. Derrick Rose blew his knee out. The Celtics were one of those teams that was going to play a 6-game series against anybody.
Sure. They didn't have any expectations, no doubt, but this team did. And here we are with what we have going right now with this Sixers. Again, like I agree. You're not going to get me to disagree with you. Like, I agree. And Joel Embiid, look, as if you ask me, pin me down, was the process a success or failure? To me, the process was always about winning a championship. We don't have to argue. We could disagree on it. To me, the process was always about winning a championship. We didn't win a championship. The process was a failure. Was it awesome? Did it bring in Joel Embiid for 8 seasons? Hell yeah. Ben Simmons was fun when he came in. Hell yeah. It made the process these last few seasons make me look back a little bit differently as far as some of the regular season we should have enjoyed a little more. And moving forward, I'm trying to enjoy regular season action more than ever, whether it's Phillies, Eagles, Sixers, not Flyers, but you understand where I'm going. I think, like, okay, you just can't be all or nothing, championship or bust. You just can't do that as a fan.
Yeah,
that's the deal. You want that title, but you can't, because at the end of the day, man, it's just too long of a season. So we got to enjoy some of the successes that come with it. It was a good run. It was a good run. Blow this franchise up, Mark. Sell the team. I want all this stink gone. Gone.
I will say, for as horrible as things seem right now, Maxime McCain is not like the worst young kind of pair to have if everything else is kind of going to hell. I'm also a little I think there's a chance Joel's a productive NBA player again at some point. I mean, who knows? I'm not a doctor. We have no idea what's going on. But Paul George, I'm pretty negative on. I don't know how you fix the Paul George situation. But
can we trade him?
Probably not.
Who the hell is taking him on?
That's what I imagine. That's what I would say. I don't think anyone's taking that contract unless someone has an equally problematic contract to kind of throw at us. But I will say, if you're able to get the top 6 pick, you can squint.
I'm back in.
Yeah, exactly. If you're able to get that top 6 pick, I can squint and be like, all right, Maxime McCain.
Yeah.
Maybe Joel gets back. If this guy pans out, you can talk yourself in. But I will just say, the Sixers, you go through the entire history of the organization. You have that Wilt era. You have that Doc era. Everything else besides the 1 year Allen Iverson went to 1 year he went to a final.
3 years that were fun. We were fun. They were
fun.
The
1 year before the 1 year before it, I'd say.
AI he was fun once he was drafted, though. Like that's when I became a fan of the 76ers. Full disclosure,
yeah.
I'm a Bulls fan. The baton was handed from Jordan AI for me. I've always said that Sixers are my number one. I love the 76ers. Love them until right now. Like that, and I'm in your camp. When you texted me that this morning, I go, that's perfect, because that's exactly where I'm at. The apathy that I have for this franchise, this team. I watched like 8 games tops, Mark, this year.
I haven't watched them once.
Like, when I get home, I just go, no, I would rather do the dishes than watch Alex Reese, who Ryan Coyle coming in. I don't know if this is true or not. Makes sense, though. He said Bernard told him that Alex Reese was a bartender, moved furniture after graduating. Now he's a rotation piece for the Sixers. Is that true?
I don't know, but I will say you cannot let this team win another game. I want more Alex Reeses. Quentin Grimes needs to find an injury. Like these guys need to chill. Like
he's comfortable tonight.
Good. He can't be playing. He's too good. He's averaging like 25 a game recently or something crazy. They got to get more bums out there. Get beef a 10-day. I'm ready to see some Ryan Coyle action out there for the Sixers tonight. You cannot win another game. You have to lose out.
No one's arguing with you on that one. I agree. And like I said, I get it. But, man, it's sad to where we're at. And I never thought this team had championship potential, but I did like the roster that was put together. I just figured that, you know what? And, again, Embiid getting hurt changes everything. But even if he was going down, I still thought that this team would be competitive. But, of course, McCain goes down. And even then, I wasn't thinking about him doing much in the preseason. So I just thought Max would be a little bit better. I thought Paul George would be a little bit better, of course. Embiid, I thought, would be somewhat healthy throughout the course of the season. But this is amazing where we're at right now. Oh, by the way, Sixers in action tonight if you care. Take it on the Pacers. If you had to give me a spread on that game, what do you think it is?
13.5.
That a boy. 13.
Wow, I nailed it. I didn't see that. Only one man can save us, and he's more of a Sixer than ever, leaving yesterday's game in a wheelchair.
Cooper Flag?
His name is Cooper Flag. It's the only man who can save this team from itself. And even still, we'll screw him up.
Got cousin Nicky following along. Appreciate that, cousin Nicky. He's asking a question here for you. If you had to pick between Harper or Bailey on the Sixers, who would you rather have?
Yeah, I've actually been arguing this with my buddy Pat Moran, who's probably smarter than me when it comes to sports, but he's a huge Dylan Harper guy. He thinks he's going to be like James Harden reincarnated. He loves the kid. What are we doing drafting another guard, though? You have Maxey and McCain. Like, you have even Grimes if you want to match whatever deal he gets in restricted free agency. I think you have your guard rotation locked up. Maybe you even keep Jared Butler around. But I would go with Bailey. Probably, maybe he doesn't turn out to be as good of a player, to be honest. But I don't know how you add another guard when all you have to rely on going forward is guards.
I heard the story I was able to catch wind of. Ace Bailey made a nice chunk of change in 1 year out there at Rutgers.
Fire Steve Peichel to the sun for not getting that team to the tourney.
If Ace Bailey is making, let's just leave that number out until it's reported. But if he's making legit money, Dylan Harper's got to be doing the same, correct?
Yeah, probably just a shade under, I'd imagine. They didn't pay anyone else. They thought, we'll go out and pay two guys and we'll nickel and dime the rest of the roster. The rest of the roster was so nickel and dime that I don't know if they got any dimes. I think they got pennies. Like that team stinks outside of those top two guys. I think one guy was supposed to come and then decommitted at the last second or so. I can't remember his name, but I think they were supposed to get someone who is at a big school right now instead and kind of did them dirty. But still, you'd have to imagine they're going to be the second and third pick. They're not. They didn't sniff the tournament. Or, yeah. I don't know if they finished 500. I'd have to look at their record, but brutal. I mean, one of the most disappointing seasons in college basketball history.
I had them against USC in the first game, and of course they came up flat and lost that game. That was disappointing. I was talking myself into old school mentality with college basketball and tournament time. Hey, if you have good guards, Kemba Walker, like you go down the list of the great guards, you can advance. And you need a little something else to help you out, to help your cause. Yeah, looking at the NBA mock draft, man, there's a lot of guards at the top, not too many bigs. You got the guy from Duke who potentially could be available at that spot, will be available at that spot. But other than that, man, you're looking at Edgecombe out of Baylor, who's a shooting guard, Bailey, Harper, again, those guys we just discussed at the guard. You got Derek Queen, who's a power forward center, 6'10" out of Maryland. But again, I don't think any of these guys are going to come in and have the impact like potentially Cooper Flag could. So I'm with you.
I do like Trey Johnson, another guard, but I don't know if he makes sense for us. Trey Johnson, nice.
Texas coming up next, so we will have Trey Johnson on our screens. All right, good stuff there. I feel better. I was able to yell a little bit. I feel better. I like watching that game, tuning into the tank, and just like seeing it. And Toronto's starting five was just as bad. I'm like, what is going on right now? This Reese guy out there.
The only reason I pushed back at all is I have this thing, and I'm obviously a process nerd, and Sam Hinkie wasn't able to complete what his vision was. I think that's something that often gets forgotten about the process. He was out before Embiid was playing games. He was forced out by the Colangelos before Joel ever took the court. So you think about it that way. Sam never got to fully put together what he was putting the pieces of. He had a couple years of the process where he set us up tremendously and it gave us a ton of assets, and we moved forward and signed Al Horford to max money and traded Mikal Bridges for Zaire Smith and did countless traded up from Jason Tatum to Markelle Fultz and made countless decisions that I don't know if Sam's making those decisions. So the thing that I always get a little upset with when things are inevitably turned to the Sixers conversation and it's like, man, the process was the worst. We never got to succeed from it. I never want that to turn into glorifying DeAndre Iguodala, Lou Williams, Willie Green, Kyle Korver Sixers, because I grew up with those Sixers. And let me tell you something, It wasn't fun having like a Samuel Dallenberg jersey on, going to the Wachovia Center when the team was 34-48. Like, and I went to a lot of those games as a kid. They stunk. They were an uninteresting team for my whole childhood. So the process at least was something to try. And we got six seasons over 50 wins out of 7 years.
Number 1 seed 1 year. Overall number 1. Yeah, I'm with you. I look, just one more for me and that's the only thing I would push back about Henke is to me, I just think it's Ben Simmons. If Ben Simmons turned into the player that he was supposed to be, even less than what he was supposed to be, and didn't crater into that turtle that he became, I think the 76ers do get to a finals. I think they could potentially win a championship. And if that didn't happen under Henke, then we're talking about something differently. But I don't see that changing even with a guy like Sam Hinkie here. But you're right. 100%. You cannot argue with what you said. He was forced out. And next thing you know, you get Colangelo in here with his madness, and he was like, we're all in, we got to go for it. And that clearly would not have been the approach for Sam Hinkie. But good times. Here we are, 76ers tonight. Anyways, let's keep it moving. We got a lot to discuss as far as college hoops coming up here. Live action. Mark Henry Jr. has a lot. You sent me your card. As far as right now, Mark, let's go down the list. We got Michigan State and Oregon. That just went final. Michigan State Sparty pulls away from Oregon in the second half. No, they were up by 10 at half. And they never looked back in the second half. 74-64 final score. Michigan State 6-point favorites going into that game, covered the number. To the next big game from the afternoon as far as college madness is concerned here, conference tournament style. Let's see here. I had one more that I wanted to get to.
We touched on Auburn. VCU smoked the Bonnies. Wisconsin up big on UCLA at halftime here.
That's a half. Okay, 48-29. Good Lord. They were 2-point favorites going against UCLA here. Any action for you presently at this point in time?
I'll tell you what, Sean Brace, I had the worst college basketball gambling day of my life yesterday. Went 1-7. Hit my first bet. Lost my next 7. 7 straight. Lost my first bet of the day today. I'm on Wisconsin. Yeah, there it is. Flush it. What did Jalen Hurts say? And I keep trying to remember this quote. What did Jalen say in 2021? I did this on air.
We got to flush it and move on, right?
You see a turd. Was it turd he said? He used the word for poop or something. I think it was turd. You don't stare at a turd. You flush it and move on. That's how I feel right now. 2021 Jalen Hurts.
He said deuce. That's what I'm reading.
Yeah.
When you take a deuce, you don't just look at it. You flush it and move on.
Wow. That was me this morning. I took a deuce yesterday. I flushed it. I moved on. But we lost the first one with Ole Miss. I'll tell you what, if Wisconsin blows this 19-point lead.
No. Don't even think negatively like that. Not going to happen. Let's go. Go on Badgers. I'm sure your boy Big Cat's on Wisconsin for this one as well, as he was the story of sports gambling, man. 16 in a row. That was a lot of fun to watch. And I love the aftermath where he's like, I'll never do that again. Never, ever again. It was the greatest run of my life. It's over. It's done. And it's true. It's never going to happen again, especially but it's a whole different world than you and I going 16-0 or whatever. Yeah. Because it's him and everybody getting behind it. It was a lot of fun and perfectly timed as far as that concerned. But we'll see what happens.
Yesterday, I know too, and which was totally predictable that he was going to go on an absolute cold streak after that run.
That's great. Excellent stuff. All right. So we do have some great games coming up, though. Again, all night long. First and foremost, Tennessee and Texas. Anything for you in this one? 9.5. It's about to get started right here, right now. Rodney Terry. I like him, man. I do. I like Rodney Terry. And 9.5-point favorites here, 136.5. A little bit too many for me as far as Tennessee is concerned. Anything with the dog, or are you a favorite here?
I'm staying away from this one. Texas, one of those teams, it feels like they are playing pretty well right now. Inspired basketball on the bubble. I always get worried about these like bubble versus 2-seed games. How much is Tennessee playing for? I will say Rick Barnes generally does value the conference tournament. So it's not a situation where he just kind of thumbs his nose at it, but I'm staying away from that one. I would lean Texas with the points. I feel like my problem with Texas is they really trip up in a lot of close games, late in games. Obviously, you have a big spread here, so that wouldn't be a problem. So I would lean Texas, but I wouldn't touch that one.
Staying in the SEC, let's talk about Florida, Missouri. We're looking at 8.5. Game going off at 7 p.m. Florida favored here. Missouri was really good at home. 8.5. I could see Florida covering this number. I'm a Missouri guy. I had Missouri and Clemson as my two teams that if you gave me the right path, I could potentially have making a run as a surprise. Clemson no longer a surprise. And I don't think Missouri would even categorize as a surprise anymore for people as well. 22-10 on the season. But anything for you in that one? Too many points one way, or do you like Florida here?
I'm not crazy about Missouri. I think that defense, 68th in Ken Palm, and I'm kind of pot calling the kettle black because there's definitely some teams that I'm supporting with bad defensive numbers as well. But Missouri's offense can definitely fill it up. I think that defense is going to get them at some point. I would lean Florida here, but I not much of no plays on that one. I would lean Florida.
All right, let's talk about the Big East. Last night, UConn pulled away in the second half, and I think the Kyle Neptune run might be coming to an end. And I know they'll have one more game. They'll have another run coming up here as far as with the tournament, I believe that's taking place out there in Vegas, I want to say. And who knows, but it's tough. It's a tough pill to swallow because, look, Neptune's likable. He's a good recruiter. But at the end of the day, you got to win. You got to win in 3 seasons. He hasn't really got him over the hump or even shown that he can lead them there. I'd be surprised if he does return with the new athletic director. Again, we got no one said anything negative. It's a results business, and I think he would tell you that straight up as well. Disappointing ending to the season last night. And it's crazy when you do look at the season, man. They had a number 1 scorer in Dixon. They were the second leading scoring or 3-point shooting team in the country. Like, there were so many things in favor of Villanova, and except for the win-loss record. So last night, UConn advances. Marquette and St. John's, though. That's going to be a banger of a game that I would imagine you're going to have an opinion on. 28-4, the Johnnies, 3.5-point favorites. Marquette, always dangerous this time of year. I love Shaka. They're 23-9 on the season. Anything for you in that one, Mark? That one's going up at 6:30.
I lean Marquette. Shaka does great in the Big East tournament. It feels like every year that they're making runs there. I don't have a play on this one. I'll be rooting for Marquette because St. John's has given UConn problems. I have UConn plus 400 to win the Big East here. Need 2 more wins to get that home. Would much rather see UConn go up against Marquette than St. John's. So I'll be locked in rooting for Marquette. So UConn doesn't have to deal with Pitino. I think it's one of those things where Danny Hurley is such a good coach and is able to coach circles around some of these other guys, even Shaka, who I think is a good coach. But yeah. I think Hurley's really able to outduel and outthink and maybe out-argue some of these great coaches. Can't do that with Rick.
Yeah, you're right about Rick. He got teed up last night. That was shocking.
Yeah. He said he's never argued with a ref. That's what he said.
Did you see the 60 Minutes piece?
No, I didn't.
He has a meditation room.
Oh my God, he's the man.
I do. You know what? I've taken a 180 on Hurley. I won't lie. He always bothered me in the beginning. It's funny because isn't it? It's it's one of those things. Of course, winning cures all. It changes the way you look at it, right? But you look at Bull Durham, or you remember Bull Durham, the movie, and Kevin Costner talks about the flip-flops, having moss, and if you're batting like 200, then you're like, this dude that has bad hygiene. But if you're hitting 300, next thing you're like, ooh, that guy's edgy. He doesn't try. Yeah. That works, And it's the same thing with Hurley, where it's like, okay, he's pretentious. He's an absolute maniac on the side, to throwing hissy fits, stomping. And it's one thing if you're finishing 500 in the Big East. It's another when you're back-to-back national champion. It's like, all right, so I'll back down. He is the man.
I definitely wasn't a Hurley guy. When you're the back-to-back national champion, you can do whatever you want, in my opinion. Like he could be flipping the bird to every stadium he's walking into and walking out of, win or loss, complain about the rest. I don't care. College basketball needs faces like Danny Hurley. It needs Coach K's gone. Jim Boeheim's gone. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on other names. Pitino's on his way out. Jay Wright is gone. Tony Bennett is gone. There's so many faces. Roy Williams. Yeah, there's so many faces of the sport. Larry Brown, not recent, but he's been gone for a while. But there's so many faces of the sport that have been phased out of the last 5 to 10 years. How many coaches are stars at this point? College basketball, more than any other sport, is a coach-driven league. And your coach is the identity of your team, especially now in the transfer portal era when so much changes year to year. The coach really is the representation of what you think about a team sometimes. I'll never believe in Tennessee.
Yeah, that's fair. Currently 4-4 right now, early in the first half. Tennessee and Texas there. All right. Speaking of UConn, give me a take on that game. Creighton, what is your thoughts on Creighton? Again, if I'm not mistaken, they made a run in Maui. They've been able to put it together over the past few seasons. Of course, we know they got some good players that return year after year, and it's no surprise that they had themselves a 22-9 season. But going up against UConn tonight, number here currently, do you got a number on that one, Mark?
Last I saw it was 3.5, and I've got UConn here. I'm on UConn minus 3.5. That's one of my bets tonight. And I just think this UConn team is playing the exact type of basketball you'd want for a team that needs to turn the corner. And I know that they've been disappointing this year. They're still the number 15 offense in the country. I think you give me Danny Hurley, you give me the number 15 offense in the country. They also have Liam McNeely, who did miss like 9 games this year, is probably their most dynamic scorer. Solo Ball has really stepped up as a guard down the stretch here. You look at what they've done against kind of the best opponents and they've lost some weird games this year. Obviously, I think it was they lost to a bad Seton Hall team in overtime on the road. Yeah. But you look at what they've done against the good teams in the Big East. They just beat Marquette. You look in February, they beat Marquette again, lost by 6 to St. John's, gave them a good run for their money. Beat Creighton in February. They lost a close one to Creighton in January. I just think they haven't been blown out at all in any of these top Big East matchups. They beat a Baylor team in December, beat a Texas team in December, beat a Gonzaga team in December, Xavier in December. I think people were so quick to crap on UConn because it wasn't what we've seen the last 2 years. I think they're underseeded right now, being floated out there as like an 8 seed. I really think they should be up around a 5 or a 6 line. I think it's crazy. Maybe if they won the Big East tournament, maybe they could inch their way up there. But this is a team that, they're right there on the top of my list of non-1 seeds that could make a deep run here. And I like Creighton too as well, by the way.
What was UConn listed? Were they a 7? They were an 8 or 9, were they?
They're an 8 right now on the field of 68 one. Let me take a look at Lunardi, who
no, that's where he had them to as well, because I remember going back and forth yesterday saying if Duke meets up with UConn with that on that Sunday, and let's say they do have Cooper Flagg back coming off of that ankle injury, like that's not going to be easy. That's a tough matchup.
As of noon today, Lunardi has that, where Duke is the 1 and 8 and UConn is the 8 in that region. And are you a Lunardi or a Palm guy?
Oh, absolutely, Lunardi.
They both have brutal rugs on the top of their head. Bad toupee situation. Is that a bracketology thing? You got so many numbers flying around in your brain, you lose the hair. It's bad toupee, especially Palm.
Is there UConn right now? It's 75-1 to run it back to back to back.
I locked it in at 80-1 this morning. I sent it in the chat. I got UConn 80-1. I believe in that team.
Wow, good for you. Good for you. I like that
swing. And yeah, I took 3 swings. I this morning I took UConn 80-1. I took Clemson 65-1. And nice. Clemson, to be honest, Clemson's kind of like that Miami team to me a couple of years ago. You remember how much I fell in love with Miami. I had a bunch of futures on them to get to the Final Four. They cashed them. The year before, they were in the Elite Eight. Loved that team too. But I never knew if that team could win it all. I probably feel the same way about Clemson. I think they're going to make a deep run. I don't know if they can win it all. But 65-1, had to take a sniff. And then the one that I actually really think can hit is St. John's at 30-1. I think that being 30-1 right now is disrespectful to the job that Pitino's done over the last 2 months. And it kind of, you just heard me talk about UConn. You heard me say I like Creighton. I think the Big East is getting disrespected in general in this entire bracket conversation. I think that you look at UConn, Creighton, and Marquette are all going to be 8 seeds. It looks like. I think all of them are better than 8 seeds. St. John's, I think, should be like squarely in the 2 seed conversation. And they are a 2 right now, I think. But it's like up for debate whether they're a 2 or a 3. St. John's should be like the number 5 team in the country to me. They should be locked in as a 2. I think St. John's can make a deep, deep run. And then lastly, Xavier being on the bubble with teams like San Diego State and Texas and North Carolina, who's 1-11 in quad 1. I think Xavier's way better than those teams. They struggled to start the year, but you look at what Xavier's done in these last couple of months. I think they're like top 20 over the last month and a half on Bartorvik. Shouts out to Bartorvik. But I think the Big East in general is getting disrespected. If you give me St. John's, Creighton, UConn, Marquette, and Xavier, I think you get 4 teams to the second round at least out of those 5.
All right. I want to finish up here with college basketball, and then I want to get one quick one out of you for some NFL, and then we'll call it a day here, Mark. But as far as from here on out, let's go from 6 p.m. on. One play for the listening audience, one play for your boy over here. I'm going to be belly up somewhere. I'm breaking the streak. I've been 61 days without a Guinness, without a beer, without a sip of alcohol. I feel like tonight is the night. I feel like tonight I got to go ahead and have myself a Guinness here.
Yeah.
Give me one play I'm locking in, courtesy of Mark Henry Jr.
Get the Guinness before the tariffs. I heard Guinness is going up. The price of the Guinness gone up.
Everything went up.
Yeah,
we're screwed.
You're not lying. But my best bet of the night comes in a little Philly school matchup, which it did last night, and I got absolutely screwed. Don't know if you saw the Temple ending. They shot at the buzzer, should have hit a 3 to take them to 74. They didn't count it for some reason. I had team total over 72.5. Unbelievable ending, worst beat of my life. But I'm going right back to Philadelphia. I'm going with another over. Give me St. Joe's Dayton. Oh, I got 141.5, actually down to 140.5 over on DraftKings. So I got a bad line. That's scary. But I like the over. That's my favorite bet of the night. They played one time this year, 77-72, cruised over the total in that game. Dayton 22-9 to the over this season. They've been an absolute cash cow to the over. St. Joe's 19-13. St. Joe's has 3 guys averaging 15 plus. Dayton's got 5 guys in double figures. I love the over. I think this is a shootout. I think it's a great game, by the way. Really close game, really fun game. St. Joe's, if you haven't gotten a chance to watch them out there in Philly, if you're listening, St. Joe's a really, really fun team to watch. Get up and down the court, good guard play. I think there's a chance whoever wins this game could go on and win the whole A10 tournament. But for my purpose, I'm hoping it's a close game, hoping we get some fouls at the end if we need some for points. But give me the over now at 140.5. That's my favorite of the night.
All right, locking it in. I'm in on you, in on that one with you, and we'll see if we can come home with a victory there. Once again, game tipping off at 7:30. Let's go points. All right, let's get you out of here on this one because I know you are very passionate about this take, and I'm right there with you. I'm all about giving patience, and Howie Roseman deserves all the praise. And it's like, dude, Howie we trust. You know, you want to go blind loyalty. I never am comfortable saying that, but he deserves it. And he said everybody needs to have some patience as far as Eagles fans are concerned with the roster. But to me, you got to have a plan. And I'm talking specifically about the tight end position. And I just don't know how you're going to be able to replace Dallas Goedert. And number one, number two is it a must that they need to move off of him? Like, I guess maybe we need to get into the numbers to really sink our teeth into, of course, like the contract and what it's going to be for other players. And you got these rookies that are playing well. I get all that, but man, Dallas Goedert is pretty damn good. I know he took some injuries, don't get me wrong, but man, he's a pretty damn good tight end. He proved his worth in the playoff run. So I'm just curious, why is this push for trading Dallas Goedert, for releasing Dallas Goedert? And then on the flip side, Mark, what's the plan? Who's playing tight end next year if they move off of Dallas Goedert?
I think that's a great question. And I got to be honest, I am utterly confused by the entire conversation and situation about Dallas Goedert. He has 1 year left. He's going to make a good chunk of money on that 1 year. There's 2 arguments I'm hearing. One argument is saying, oh, well, Dallas Goedert isn't going to play out his deal. He's going to hold out, or he's not going to be happy. He wants a new deal. He's injury prone. He's not going to go into the year on a 1 year deal. And then the other argument, the cap people argument, are coming in and saying, oh, well, the Eagles can't afford to be paying him $15 million. They need to move off of him and move on from him at the position. Which one is it? Because if that's too much money, and then the other report was other teams want him at a lower number this year, so they don't want to trade for him because he's making a lot of money this year. Guess what? If Dallas Goedert's making too much money for other people to want to trade for him, he's probably not going to hold out from making $15 million. That's my take on it. And the reports of I've seen John Barshard say a lot oh, well, Dallas, I'm sure, doesn't want to be here right now. He wants to be utilized more in the offense, and he wants a new he's won a Super Bowl. How are we assuming unhappiness for a guy who just was the playoff leading receiver for the Eagles who won a Super Bowl? I feel like a lot of these
playoff leading receiver
for the Eagles. Yeah, he led us in receiving yards over the postseason. I don't know about the whole playoffs. I meant for the Eagles.
That's what I meant too. Yeah. That's still surprising.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And it's because they went to him in those first couple games when the rest of the passing offense was slow. Losing Josh Sweat, losing Milton Williams, even if Mekhi Becton walks, all Kenny Gainwell, Isaiah Rodgers, I think I'm missing names, but whatever. If you want to lose those guys to free agency, no problem. Not a problem. Can't pay everybody. I get it. The Chauncey Gardner-Johnson thing scares me a little bit because allegedly that's not about cap savings. It's about cash savings. And I've praised Jeffrey Lurie for a long time for being willing to pay more than any other owner in sports. But if we're worried about cash savings, what are we doing? We just want a Super Bowl. Let's try to compete and win another with this team that is very ready to go and do so. Why are we trying to hurt them at positions that we're now making needs that didn't have to be needs? Safety did not have to be a need this year. We could have. And then the report was we were trying to pay Justin Reed, who was going to make way more than Chauncey Gardner-Johnson made when we traded him. And the thing that frustrates me the most out of all of this whole Dallas Goedert conversation, the same people, and I'll throw John Barshard's name out there as one of them.
We love Johnny.
I do like John a lot. But the same people that were telling me Dallas Goedert needs to get traded. We need to just take a day 3 pick. He's not happy here. We have to do it. Were the people telling me that they had to trade 3 first-round picks for Myles Garrett and fit his $50 million into the cap space. But, Dallas Goedert's $15 million 1-year hit. That's going to break the camel's back. No way to ever recover from keeping Dallas Goedert and not trading him for a 5th-round pick. It's a little hypocritical to me. The entire way that this whole offseason is being talked about is hypocritical.
A lot of it.
Yeah, right. And I will say, A.J. Dillon gets signed, and half the Eagles fan base is like, oh, the Quadzilla. He's one of the worst running backs I've ever seen. 3.4 yards per carry.
No, that's not what you said. What did you say?
What did I say?
I think you said he is the worst.
I think I'd make a case that every other running back in the league I'd rather sign than A.J. Dillon. 3.4 yards. This is a bit that me and Shane Half used to talk about how bad A.J. Dillon was and how we didn't understand why he was on a team. He got 204 carries from Green Bay. He didn't get 1,000 yards.
Correct.
He stinks. And then Kenyon Green, a guy who went in the first round a couple years ago. I actually liked him as a prospect when I evaluated him in the NFL draft, but he's been legitimately the worst player at his position in the NFL since he's been drafted. And I get it. Everybody out there is going to hear, well, Jeff Stoutland. Well, what if we gave Jeff Stoutland, I don't know, average players? Maybe he could make them really good instead of making him work with the worst offensive guard in the league and make him average. Or it just doesn't make sense to me. I will say I like the Uche move. I like the Adoree Jackson move. But we don't have to celebrate every move that the Eagles make. And if you disagree with any move the Eagles make, it doesn't make you a Howie Roseman hater. I came on this show before the Super Bowl and said Howie Roseman's the most valuable human being in the history of Philadelphia sports. You might be able to remove sports from that conversation. He might be the most valuable human being. History of Philadelphia, move over Ben Franklin.
There's nobody arguing that. Wow, A.J. Dillon's only 26 years old. That's crazy. It feels like he's been in the league forever.
Came into the league young, for sure.
Yeah, I would imagine so. But you're right. One of my favorite things to do is just tee Mark up and wind him up and allow him to go. And I knew that Dallas Goedert topic would take him there. But you're right. And again, I know, that's what I said. It's like blind loyalty. yeah, Howie on the surface deserves all that, but that's not what we're going to do here. We are, yeah. Kyle Fisher checking. He says, "Move over, Ben Franklin. Cut it." That's it. I like it. Nice work on that one. And he deserves a lot of love as we are giving him, but it doesn't mean he's never going to make a bad move, right? And the CJGJ, for my money, I think there's got to be something there underneath, right? He is one of those guys that maybe you might not want to hang on longer and cut shorter, but he was valuable, man. He was a ball hog. He was a badass. So that does sting. And on the flip side, the guy they're getting back with the PFF ratings. Now, let me ask you, because he was a first-round pick. So, what were you saying when he was coming out of college? Did you think he'd be a little bit better?
Yeah, I liked him. I thought he would step in and be like a day one starter. I thought he was, interior offensive lineman. You're only ranking a guy in the top 50 if you think he can start day one, generally, in my opinion. And it's like Tyler Booker from Alabama this year. He's going to be a late first, early second. I think if you're drafting him, you're expecting him to go and play offensive guard day one. And Kenyon Green was the same thing. He couldn't make it work. I don't see, I don't know. With Mekhi Becton, people want to throw Mekhi Becton out there. Mekhi Becton failed at offensive tackle, and when he got here, we moved him in. Kenyon Green, what are we going to make him play center? He's played guard. What are we going to move him to the other side of the line? I don't know what the big fix is with an offensive lineman. I get it when you change a guy's position. That makes sense. You change Zach Bond's position, you change Mekhi Becton's position, you get kind of different production than what we've seen out of them in general. But I don't know what you're doing to kind of capture what Kenyon Green hasn't been able to get. What I'm hoping is that he's just a depth offensive lineman, and that trade was going to be made for picks, and he was just a throw-in, and you have him as a backup guard. I still think I'm of the opinion I don't even want to pay Mekhi Becton, because I think Tyler Steen will be fine. He stepped in multiple times in relief for offensive linemen throughout the year.
Yeah.
He stepped in. I thought he stepped in well. I thought he'd do a good job. I don't think you necessarily have to go pay Becton the $60+ million he's going to get when you have a guy who you took in the second round 2 years ago, who you could cab on the next 2 years pretty cheap and start him there and figure it out later. So I kind of get not wanting to spend money on offensive line, and hopefully Green's just a depth guy.
We did have some news 15 minutes ago. Adam Schefter put out that the Eagles agreed to terms with tight end Kylan Granson from the Indianapolis Colts.
No take, really.
Yeah.
Same with Harrison Bryant yesterday. These guys all seem like depth guys to me. Maybe the only thing I can think of, if you are going to trade Goddard, maybe it's just a situation where you have a bunch of blocking tight ends and you don't really have one of them be a part of the passing game. A lot of people talking about how great this tight end class is. I totally disagree. I don't like this tight end draft class.
I heard somebody ranting about how talented this tight end class was down there in Mobile, Alabama.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. Shane Haff and I kind of both, we just did our tight end preview 2 weeks ago, and we both kind of had the same reaction where it's I feel like I was lied to. Once you go through the tape, you look at the numbers, you look at the athletic scores and all that stuff. I have Tyler Warren, great player. He's my number 7 player overall. He's not going to sniff 32 when the Eagles are picking. And
I go 7. He might go 7.
He might. Is it the Jets at 7?
Is it the all right? He won't go 7. Isn't the Raiders at 7?
No, the Raiders are 6. No, I'm saying I think the Jets make sense. I think the Jets are a great spot for him. Actually, it would make a ton of sense. It would give Fields a tight end who he likes to throw to the tight end. So I would love him on the Jets there. But Loveland, Colston Loveland, I like, but he's probably not going to be there at 32. He's also not a blocker. He's a full-on receiver. He's like a slot receiver as a tight end. It's an interesting prospect, but he's not a blocker at all. I don't think the Eagles are bringing in a first-round tight end that's not a blocker. Tight end blocking is pretty important in the tight end role in the Eagles offense. And then after that, I don't have a tight end in my top 85. I have those two in my first round. My number 3 tight end is Harold Fannin from Bowling Green. He's my number 86 prospect. Elijah Arroyo, Mason Taylor, Gunnar Helm. They're kind of right in there in the fringe top 100. None of those guys are anything but late third, early day 3 picks for me. And I don't want to leave our starting tight end on a Super Bowl contending team to a late third pick.
All right, fantastic stuff, Mark. Across the board, we hopped on the sports carousel, as you said, man, and we do it better than most here. And appreciate you hopping on a Friday. Of course, going to have you tomorrow. Tough coverage. Hey, nice work last week, live on location, man. Great show from the Philly show.
Great stuff. Luke's always great. Sam is a fun person for me to bring on shows because he'll disagree with me. And
he's a strong personality.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And you might know this. I could be a strong personality at times too.
Yes. I didn't want to argue with you. That's why I was like, I know this was going to stir you up. No, I'm not arguing with you. Yes, I know that. But Sam, more and more, that dude is. Yesterday he had one. What was it? It was the Milwaukee Bucks because Sean Bernard said he would put Milwaukee in front of the New York Knicks. And Sean's a notorious New York Knicks hater. That's fine. And then Sam, the way he said it, he goes, "No, I wouldn't say that, Sean." So good. Good.
I love, as you know, I love Sean Bernard, my co-host over there. Yes. I love Luke Arcaney. I love Beef. I love doing content with all three of those guys. McClay, all those guys. Nobody pushes back on me quite the way Sam does. And I like it. I appreciate it. And I think it creates interesting conversations. Sometimes I forget I was talking about how I think Michael Porter Jr. Is getting underrated at this point because I think he's you look at his numbers, he's averaging like 19 and a half a game.
I love him.
Shooting 8 threes a game. He's shooting like 43% from three. And every time I hear people talk about Denver, they're like, oh, well, they just have nothing around Jokic. And I'm like, I kind of always push back against it. I like Porter. And I brought that up. And Sam was like, well, I mean, all the guy does is shoot. He can't really do anything else on a basketball floor. And he's like, if we're talking about anyone, Jokic just had 30, 20, and 20 last night. I'm like, I'm not saying it's not about that. But it was interesting radio. He's good stuff.
Yeah, man. Bottom line is Sam is, and he knows his stuff too. So that's why he's very opinionated, as you are. And of course, everybody else, Beef, as you just mentioned, everybody knows their stuff. A lot of big brains here on The Gambler. With that being said, we are going to be all over next week. This is the home of March right here on The Gambler. Next week, front and center on Sunday. As soon as the bracket is released, you're going to have Mark Henry Jr. and his crew ready to go live on the Gambler stream. So make sure you're following us there at 8:00. Beef, myself, and McClay will be going live from the, I don't even know what I'm going to call that. The basement. We'll call it the basement. But
the basement.
Yeah, the basement. There you go. I like that. So we're going to be going live at 8:00, and we'll have that. I'll replay that for you on Monday as well. And then Monday at the Daily Ticket, we're going to be featuring everybody from the Gambler gang that covers college hoops. We're going to have a mega pod coming up on Monday night, a little bit later in the evening, where we can all, this is my goal. My goal is to get one bracket, right? And then we're all going to vote on that guy, like, and if it's majority rules, so it's like 8-9, if it's 3-2, whatever it is, we're going with that team, and we'll see how that bracket does this year. But it's an exciting time of year, obviously, as we opened up the show with, and can't thank you enough, Mark, for everything you do with us on the station, man. Great stuff here today. As always, take us out here, sir.
Tough cover country. Let's ride.
My man, there he is, Mark Henry Jr. Always a pleasure on the Gambler stream. You can hear him tomorrow right here on The Gambler at 11 a.m. All right, with that being said, let's keep it moving. Other side, I'm going to update the live action that's happening right now on the College Hardwood. Also, let's take a cruise down 95 and check out what's taking place on the PGA Tour, TPC, the players. Man, it's been a lot of fun, especially yesterday, just to get home and watch that. And, look, there's nothing better to just have it on a screen and as it's continuing, and even the replay afterwards, it has that Masters vibe. I know it's not a major or anything like that, but bottom line is it was a lot of fun to watch the golf, as they say. So we'll update the leaderboard, get you caught up on all the odds and ends before we get out of here on a beautiful, fantastic Friday in the Delaware Valley. More Daily Ticket back after this.
Cinderella stories are fun until they bust your bankroll. The madness is coming.
Cooper there to clean it up. A throwdown with two hands.
Keep it locked right here to The Gambler.
Our iHeartRadio Music Awards are back Monday night on Fox. Performing live:
Bad Bunny,
Billie Eilish,
Glorilla,
Kenny Chesney,
Money Long,
Nelly,
your host, LL Cool J,
iHeart Innovator Award recipient Lady Gaga,
Icon Award recipient Mariah Carey,
Breakthrough Award recipient Gracie Abrams.
And we're celebrating iHeartRadio's Tour of the Century Award, honoring Taylor Swift, the Eras Tour.
Live on Fox, Monday night, starting at 8 p.m.
And listen on iHeartRadio.
Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler. Now, total traffic for Philadelphia.
Good afternoon. Friday drive home, and we've got a backup. Getting onto the eastbound Schuylkill at 202. It's crawling. Car fire has only the left lane getting by. Further east, Jan Boulevard to south. Westbound Schuylkill, Jan approaching University Divide and Boulevard to Belmont. And further west, slow. King of Prussia at 202 with a gaper delay for that car fire. The Vine Expressway tied up both ways, Schuylkill to 95. 95 northbound jam, Vine Expressway to Bridge. Southbound jam, Cotman to Bridge. Then heavy 420 to the Commodore Barry. Laura Tutela, total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. A great alternative to a mobile phone for your kids. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com and you'll get 60% off. Free UPS shipping. Add code radio and get an extra 5% off.
If you've been wanting to try Ozempic, go to tryfh.com right now. If Ozempic is effective, Future Health is next level effective. These new reports are saying Future Health is getting 58% better results. Customers are reporting they've lost 35 pounds or more in just a few months. Go now and take the quiz while their 30% off offer is still active. Get started today and you can have meds delivered to your door in 48 hours. That's tryfh.com.
Tryfh.com.
Data based on independent study sponsored by Future Health. Future Health is not a healthcare services provider. Meds are prescribed at provider's discretion.
Hey, Sean Brace here. Now, do you own or manage a business here in Philadelphia? Are you unsure where to start when it comes to advertising? Well, here's a surprise. Fox Sports The Gambler, your local iHeart station, is the one place you can get it all. From radio and podcast ads to social media and digital. And we can get local voices like mine spreading the word about your business. So if you're looking for someone to take care of all of your ad needs, no matter your budget, call 844-844-iHeart. That's 844-844-iHeart today.
Welcome to AT&T. How can I help?
Hey, I thought I could trust my twins with my phone, but they outnumber me, man.
Whoa, that's a lot of glitter paint.
Let's trade lives.
At AT&T, everyone can trade in an old or glittered iPhone any year, any condition, and save on a new iPhone. Ask how to get iPhone 16 Pro on us. New and existing customers. Savings vary by device and trade-in combinations. Restrictions apply. See att.com for details. AT&T. Connecting changes everything.
Attorney CPA Joe Cordell.
Divorce changes your life and your children's lives. Whether that change is good or bad depends to a great extent upon the attorney you choose. So interview more than one attorney and ask about experience, specifically trial experience. And oh, by the way, be sure to include Cordell & Cordell in those interviews.
Online at CordellCordell.com. Offices in Philadelphia, Radnor, and Allentown, Pennsylvania, and Mount Laurel, New Jersey. Michelle Ferrari, licensed in New Jersey and Pennsylvania. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois only.
T-Mobile Home Internet is all about speed, value.
What you doing, Zach?
I'm rehearsing. There are so many benefits. You got to talk fast.
T-Mobile Home Internet ranks #1 in customer satisfaction for home wireless internet by J.D. Power.
Wow, you are good.
Try singing it. T-Mobile has price lock.
They won't raise your rate on internet.
Hulu and Paramount Plus on them.
Get T-Mobile Home Internet all in for just $55 a month with auto pay and any postpaid voice line.
Additional terms apply. For J.D. Power 2024 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards.
The new iHeart app.
This is the one app you need.
Love my presets. The preset feature is dynamite. Love it.
And I've been telling all my friends about it. They're on the app.
Get in on what everyone's talking about and get the new and improved free iHeartRadio app today.
iHeartRadio.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to Hims.com/joy. HIMS.com/JOY.
My name is Kyle Tequila, host of the shocking new true crime podcast, Crook County.
I got recruited into the mob when I was 17 years old.
People are dying. Is he doing this every night?
Kenny was a Chicago firefighter who lived a secret double life as a mafia hitman.
I had a wife and I had 2 children. Nobody knew anything. He was a crazy man.
He was my father, and I had no idea about any of this until now. Listen to Crook County on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and search Crook County to start listening.
Hey, man, you all right? Need me to call 911? No. Call Top Dog Law. Get top dollar for your accident at topdoglaw.com. Once again, that's topdoglaw.com.
Ever wake up feeling lousy, knowing something is off with your body? You don't have time for guesswork. You need Viome. Forget all the generic health fads. Viome doesn't tell you what you want to hear. It tells you what's actually going on inside your body. By analyzing your gut microbiome, Viome delivers a custom health plan that's as unique as your DNA. It's science, not nonsense. Want energy? Want better digestion? Viome has your back. Stop trusting amateurs. Go to Viome.com for a personalized gut professional now. Call StarStar Gut to get $110 off any test. That's StarStar488 to receive a link to the offer.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out collection letters, garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it even harder to get out of debt. Don't let tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in taxpayer assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Let them fight on your behalf, helping to put your tax problems to rest. Call the tax professionals at Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
A landscaping pro's workday is measured in power per hour. More work in less time. That's why the pros prefer Echo outdoor power equipment. Echo's best-in-class chainsaws, blowers, and string trimmers make light work out of the toughest work days. It's time your crew upgraded to Echo Power. Experience Echo Power for yourself at Laurel Lawnmower in Blackwood, New Jersey. Visit laurellawn.com or call 856-228-2770 to learn more. Echo. Power on and on.
CEOs You Should Know, brought to you by Comcast Business.
Sharia McCrae, the proud CEO of Foundation Academies in Trenton, New Jersey. Foundation Academy is a K-12 charter school in the city of Trenton. Our mission is to empower our scholars to excel in learning and lead purpose-filled lives through pushing for excellent quality instruction every single day. And so what that looks like at Foundation Academy is ensuring our scholars have everything from food and shelter to enrichment activities and tutoring and sports, college tours and field trips, equipping them and opening the door for opportunity and access for every single scholar to pursue their passions, whatever that might be. During this time that we're living in, there's a lot of fears and a lot of uncertainties. But the one thing everyone can be certain about is the opportunity to impact the life of a child. At Foundation Academy, we're always calling on folks who want to be a part of that, who want to have the impact, have the heart for children, because they're not just our future, they're our today. Join us in this movement to really change lives through education. You can visit us on our website at www.foundationacademies.org.
Comcast Business, the complete connectivity solution, cybersecurity, internet, and mobile, all from one provider. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
What if your business could see beyond what is and into what can be? Whether you're a local shop or global enterprise, Bank of America gives you access to a range of business solutions to help make every move matter. What would you like the power to do? Find out how at bankofamerica.com/banking for business.
Here's what's trending on the iHeart Sports Network, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook.
76ers forward Paul George, he's out for tonight against Indiana with groin soreness as he works with doctors on treatment options for his various injuries. Steph Curry shot his way into the history books yesterday, becoming the first player in the NBA to rack up 4,000 threes. And St. Joe's will try to take another step toward a March Madness berth tonight. Hawks will face Dayton in the Atlantic 10 quarters after they beat LaSalle. I'm Scott Davidson.
Check out what DraftKings has to offer this season with code SPORTS, because life's more fun when you're in on the action. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Age and eligibility restrictions apply. Void where prohibited. See DraftKings.com for details.
Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler. Now, total traffic for Philadelphia.
Good afternoon. Friday drive home, and we've got a backup getting onto the eastbound Schuylkill at 202. It's crawling. Car fire has only the left lane getting by. Further east, Jan Boulevard to south. Westbound Schuylkill, Jan approaching University Divide, and Boulevard to Belmont, and further west slow. King of Prussia to 202 with a gate delay for that car fire. The Vine Expressway tied up both ways, Schuylkill to 95. 95 northbound jam, Vine Expressway to Bridge. Southbound jam, Cotman to Bridge. Then heavy 420 to the Commodore Barry. All right, to tell total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. A great alternative to a mobile phone for your kids. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com and you'll get 60% off. Free UPS shipping. Add code radio and get an extra 5% off.
If you've been wanting to try Ozempic, go to tryfh.com right now. If Ozempic is effective, Future Health is next level effective. These new reports are saying Future Health is getting 58% better results. Customers are reporting they've lost 35 pounds or more in just a few months. Go now and take the quiz while their 30% off offer is still active. Get started today and you can have meds delivered to your door in 48 hours. That's tryfh.com.
Tryfh.com.
Data based on independent study sponsored by Future Health. Future Health is not a healthcare services provider. Meds are prescribed at provider's discretion.
Febreze.
It's a classic odor tale. You fried fish for dinner, cleaned up, but the smell is still in the house. And the neighbors are coming over for game night. They're on their way. And then you spray Febreze Air Mist. Febreze Air starts working instantly to fight even your toughest odors, so you go from fish to fresh like that. Now, all you have to worry about is Pam cheating at charades.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to end your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other IRS actions. Make sure you're getting the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima today for a free confidential consultation.
Call 800-813-4011. That's 800-813-4011. 800-813-4011.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
That spice is 10 out of 10. Would recommend. Hi, my name is Khadijah, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Grilled Spicy Deluxe Sandwich is that spicy kick of the chicken. It's just the right amount of heat, and it gets me excited. And then, pro tip, add that cilantro lime sauce. It cools it down. If the sandwich is at 100, the cilantro lime takes it to 200. It makes me want to, tell all my friends and family.
Order a Chick-fil-A Grilled Spicy Deluxe Sandwich and a Diet Dr. Pepper on the Chick-fil-A app for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonial.
No two people learn the exact same way. So how did Babbel become the award-winning language learning app? We thought of you, all of you. Take Sierra. As a visual learner, she uses Babbel's wordplay videos.
Today I'll share a quick lesson on shopping in French.
Merci beaucoup. Keith is a be in the room with real people kind of learner. So he loves the live online classes with our language experts.
Okay, class. Vos está pronto.
Estamos prontos.
However you learn, Babbel makes it easy. Try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Number 1 on your car radio preset and the new and improved iHeartRadio app. WDAS and WD273D Philadelphia is Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler.
Daily Ticket with you here on a Feel Good Friday. Madness right around the corner. Selection Sunday, of course, going down this weekend. We'll be live for you Sunday nights when the bracket gets revealed, and then all things March next week. We are the home of March, baby. Let's go. The madness. Yeah, it's here. And starting on Monday, Daily Ticket at 3 p.m. I honestly don't think we will talk about anything other than college hoops. So, look, if you are, starving for the NFL draft conversation, you know where you can get that. But next week, you're looking for the edge, you're looking for advantages, you're looking to make some money on college basketball. This is the place to lock in on The Gambler. I'm telling you right now, we have the best minds in all things college basketball right here on The Gambler Gang, or with The Gambler Gang, and we'll feature them, all of those personalities throughout the course of next week. So starting on Monday, trust me when I tell you, don't fill out your bracket on Sunday night. Wait, tune in 3 p.m. and then all throughout the course of Monday, we'll set you up for success there. All right, the news coming out of the NFL real quick if we can. Adam Schefter says that the Bengals are actively working to get both wide receivers signed as soon as possible. Of course, that's T. Higgins, Jamar Chase. The expectation around the league is that Jamar Chase new deal, and when it gets done, will average somewhere in the range of $40.1 million to $41 million, topping Myles Garrett, making him the highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL, as the Bengals said he would be. Yeah, that guy earned it and then some. So I don't think that anyone is going to push back on that. And I just know that bottom line is that dude is about as good as it gets. He might be the best wide receiver in the game. So I would say, I think we're all in agreement. Pay the man, give him his money, and lock him in. Because if you do not, and T. Higgins is the same, I think T. Higgins could potentially be a little overvalued. I know he's a good wide receiver, but as far as the number is concerned, dollars and cents, you got to get everybody underneath the cap. I just would not want to irk Joe Burrow. Like, Joe Burrow is a top 3 quarterback, top 5 quarterback, bar none in the NFL. Nobody slings it like Burrow. Love his style, love his attitude, got to a Super Bowl. And you just don't want to irk that type of guy because, man, blood's in the water at that position. You look around the league right now. I got a comment here about Aaron bleeping Rodgers holding the Steelers hostage. The New York Giants right now are between Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers. And it's like, yeah, that's a disgrace. Thank goodness the Eagles are settled at that position. I can deal with tight end conversation, depth chart movement, wide receiver battles, anything along those lines, and any other position. But the quarterback position, you have to be locked and ready to go. And if you are not,
then you're in a world of trouble. And therefore, if the Bengals did not satisfy Joe Burrow with their approach and of course keeping those dynamic playmakers under or in their uniform, I think Joe Burrow would be like, I'm out. I'm not playing another snap, and there's nothing you can do. Zero. There is zero you can do. Now, it would be ugly. You'd have to hold out. Not the first time we've seen that, but ultimately it's a players' league, and they're eventually going to get their way. And you cannot lose a guy like Joe Burrow. You just can't. It's unacceptable. Fan base, so on and so forth. So, from an outside perspective, as far as the Bengals are concerned, I'm glad that they're seeing that this is a necessity and do not allow a guy like Joe Burrow to even be upset for 1 second. Maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. I don't know. But again, that is a need right now that they have to figure out. Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, keep them both in a Bengals uniform for the time being. Now, Jamar Chase, of course, you want to keep him as long as possible, but T. Higgins, we'll see how that one plays out. All right, again, keeping you up to date on everything that's happening around the world of sports. We got live action here on a beautiful Friday. It's an awesome thing. Let's go ahead and head down to Florida and check in on what's happening at the Players Championship, currently in progress right now as we speak, and a really good leaderboard. I just want to bring up the two names for me right now are Colin Morikawa and Rory McIlroy, both 9 under, shot 7 under today. Morikawa 4 under for Rory, and trying to give me the damn full leaderboard, please. Here, currently holding at 3 and 4. On the leaderboard. Min Woo Lee is number 1. Ashke Abati who's a hell of a player, lefty. He is 11 under, man. I really do like his style. He came out and smashes the ball. Really aggressive, young gun, and confident. Let's put it that way. So a great name. And of course, I know he won last year. I think he came up short, missed a putt on one to win a tournament last year as well. But he's been a name to pay attention to for the last couple of seasons, last couple of years. So it's no surprise to see him at the top of the leaderboard right now. JJ Spawn in there at 10 under, Morikawa, then McIlroy. Fleetwood is tied for 8th right now. Other names, notable names at this point in time. Let's see here. Billy Horschel is 11 under. Or let's see, Billy Horschel, is 6 under. He's tied for 11th. Scotty Scheffler, he is 5 under, tied for 15. Shot a 70 today. Ricky Fowler shot a 71 today, opened up with a 68. He's tied for 15. Will Zalatoris in there. He's 5 under. Where's my guy? My goodness. Hey, Berg. Uh-oh. Did he... Is he not even? He's oof. What happened here? Yeah, he's +1. He shot a 71, or he's not even finished today. Oh my Lord, that's not good. Lowry came in. He was hot. I had him in top 10. He's not playing well. He's +1. Man, a lot of these guys aren't going to make the cut. Projected cut at this point in time is 1 under. Not good. Xander Schauffele, a lot of people were down on him. He's 1 under. Jordan Spieth, apparently he's been all over the place. Well, it's Jordan Spieth. He is currently tied 42 right now, T42, and 2 under at this part of the tournament. Again, long way to go. Hopefully my guy makes the cut, but it does not look good at this point in time. So that's going to be unfortunate. But, man, what a great golf course just to get home and watch. And, of course, 17 with the water hole, and an 18 is a great hole, finishing hole. A lot of trouble for some golfers so far. What was that, 6? They put the tree out there, which was a big stink, but ultimately these players are so good. One of the golfers I did see, he said something on Instagram. He's like, man, this is what PGA Tour needs to do, is make things a little bit more difficult. I think it was Morikawa that said it, actually. And I respect that because these guys are so freaking good. It's just like, that TGL indoor league, like, I needed more Golden Tee. I needed these guys to have some hoops to hop through here, and instead they're just able to drive the ball straight and just whack it. And it's really, it's fun, it's cool, and you're mic'd up, but ultimately you got to make those holes a little bit more difficult as far as the TGL is concerned. All right, and then let's keep moving over to college hoops, as we do have live action right now and a lot of great games coming up this evening. Currently, Wisconsin, they were 2-point favorites over UCLA. They're up by a lot, 81-54, 4:23 to go here in the second. Halftime, Tennessee, 9.5-point favorites on DraftKings Sportsbook, now up by 3 at half against Texas. Texas playing well, 41-38, bunch of scoring going on there. No surprise between those two teams, but as I said, 9.5-point spread. The finals that we've had already, Memphis getting the best of Wichita State, 83-80, survive and advance there. Michigan State over Oregon by 10, 74-64, and Auburn advances in the SEC tournament, conference tournament, 62-57 against Ole Miss. Chris Beard, hell of a coach, 22-11, great season, and that's a tough out. Ole Miss is a really good ball club, but 62-57 was your final score. Auburn is a really, really good. We were talking earlier with Mark Henry Jr. that the books need Auburn to lose come tournament time. If they do, I think that they're going to win a lot of money, but easier said than done. We'll see what the path has for Auburn on Selection Sunday. Important games of substance coming up here at 6:30 p.m. Big East Conference Tournament play back to the Garden. We got 4 teams left. St. John's and Marquette, Creighton and UConn. 6:30, we got St. John's and Marquette. The Johnnies, hell of a season, 3.5, 144.5 is your total there. Marquette, 23-9 on the season. And look, they were up and down to a point throughout the course of the season. 13-7 Big East record, not the strongest Big East, but we do know how good Shaka Smart is come tournament time. And I just don't think that this is going to be an easy one for St. John's. They're 3.5-point favorites, probably right number, but I'm having a hard time picking the Johnnies here. And it's not to say that I'm all over Marquette. I just think it's going to be a really tight game. Would not shock me if that is a 2 to 3 point win. So good luck on that one if you feel confident in your selection on that one. I think Mark said he was on Marquette, so might back him on that one. But St. John's is a team that could hit the pedal to the metal and win by 10. We'll see, but I think it's going to be a tight game up there at the Garden. All right, and then over to UConn and Creighton, which is coming up. It's actually later. Why is this not being listed? What am I missing here? Why is that game not listed? It's off the board. What am I missing here? Just real quick, looking at any news, any injuries. The hell am I missing here? 4.5. That's at 9 p.m. UConn 4.5-point favorites. 139.5 is your total in that one. UConn, you know, you do got to look at coaching at this point in time, but Creighton's got some guys that can fill it up. Kalkbrenner's back. He's a damn good scorer. I don't think that they're going to be scared of the moment. UConn did hit the gas pedal last night, pulled away from Villanova. Could be more of that here this evening. Again, I'm not feeling passionate one way or the other, but I'm probably going to take the dog in that one. Give me Creighton to keep it close and maybe pull off the upset up there at MSG. All right. That is in the Big East. Over to the ACC, only one game. Well, no, I take that back. 2 games to really care about, but North Carolina and Duke, that's a 6.5-point spread. 7 p.m. Duke favored, 152, game being played in Charlotte. Now, no Cooper Flag, 7-point difference. Julian Edlow from DraftKings Sportsbook put that out a little earlier today. Cooper Flag is worth 7 points. Really intriguing to understand how that works, and it's always fun to get into those conversations. What's a player worth? And of course, if they're injured, so on and so forth. That is one of the bigger values as far as a player presents that I could remember. And he is damn good. Best player in college basketball, offensively, just a menace, but damn good defensive as well. I still like Duke. I think you're going to challenge Duke here. UNC is good. I think they're playing better now, but they haven't beaten anybody all season. I know they played them better at Chapel Hill. That's a rivalry game on Sunday or to close up the ACC, regular season. So they should play a little bit better in that spot. I don't care. Keep bringing this number down. That's fine for me, but I'll take Duke. I think Duke finds a way to win this game by more than 6 points. So give me Duke tonight at 7 p.m. And then the close-up shop in the ACC, really intriguing game with Clemson and Louisville. Louisville is damn good. So is Clemson. I'm having a hard time picking against Louisville here, and I'm a Clemson guy. I probably would back Louisville, and especially after the performance that they just had. Hepburn is awesome. Clemson's got some guys that can fill it up, though. They played well. They beat Duke earlier this season at home. I probably would back Louisville here, but Clemson could show me a lot if they do find a way to win that game and get to the ACC championship game. A lot of great games coming our way. We got Big 10 action, Big 12 action, ACC, Big East. What a great time of year as we're all ready to go for all things March coming our way starting on Sunday with the bracket reveal. Once again, Daily Ticket here. I'm live 3 to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. And this is what I will tell you. We're looking forward to being the home of all things March next week. So please tell a friend, let them know. Anybody interested in college basketball, this is the station for you. This is the show for you. And of course, all things socials at Fox PHL Gambler, at Fox PHL Gamblers, where you can find us. So tell a friend, let them know what we're doing here on The Gambler. A lot to discuss over the weekend. We have some live shows. Tomorrow will be live at 9 a.m. from Park Sportsbook Casino. Dick Girardi, Mike Kern, Kyle Nunamaker, and John Jansen. It'll be live at 9 a.m. till 11 a.m. And then Mark Henry Jr. will take over at 11 a.m. with the Tough Cover radio show featuring Sean Bernard. And again, Sunday at about 6:30, we'll be live on All Things Socials. Once the bracket is revealed, we will be live on All Things Socials. So please, once again, give us a follow and let everybody know what we're doing over here on The Gambler. A couple odds and ends before we get out of here. Again, PGA Tour, a lot of buzz there, so make sure you're checking out. And of course, you got any wagers, love to hear your thoughts over the weekend as far as that is concerned. Other one that I wanted to get to was the Tampa Bay Rays. I had that written down. They are playing, just odd, but something I want to get off my chest before we get out of here. The Rays, just move the team out of Tampa. Just do it, because what happened was they lost their stadium, which they've been trying to get a new stadium forever. It's a dump. We know that. They don't really care about the team. It's crazy because Tampa Bay Lightning have been there forever, and of course they've been successful. It's hockey. Florida, hockey. They got 2 teams in Florida, 3 teams. Am I drawing a blank on that? Florida Panthers, Tampa Bay Lightning. Is that it? Yeah, I think that's it. You would hope that they only have 2. But they have 2 hockey teams, and they're successful. But Tampa Bay Rays, who are a good franchise, they win a bunch of games in a really tough division, and they're not going to get a home. Well, at this point in time, it looks like they are not going to get a new stadium. They got destroyed by the hurricane. And now they're playing this season, I want to say, at the New York Yankees spring training facility, and they got a 1-year deal. That's it. So somebody should get an expansion team. That's my outlook on this. If I'm a Rob Manfred, commissioner of baseball, I'm looking at a city that needs a franchise and making that happen, because enough is enough. The product is good. The team is good. The franchise is good. And, the city can't come up with the money, or they don't want to build a stadium, whatever it may be. Politics, I don't care. But enough is enough. Time to move on. And I don't know if Nashville is it, or Austin, or anything like that. Austin is even up in the air. Where else would be the other MLB? Montreal could potentially be it. Put a team in Montreal. Move them back. Move the Rays to Montreal and call them the Expos. Let's go right back to that. Anything better than what is happening right now down in Tampa Bay. Really disappointing to read that, and especially after what took place as far as the damage with the stadium. You think all right, this is going to be a feel-good operation. This is something we should do, right? You think about Katrina, what took place with New Orleans. It's the first thing that goes through our minds. It's like, man, just make it happen. But they're not going to do it. So I just think this is inevitably going to happen here, that Tampa Bay will be moving out. And I think a new city is going to get a franchise. We'll see how that one works out as far as Manfred and Major League Baseball is concerned. All right, Feel Good Friday coming to a close here. Like I said, all things college hoops this weekend. Appreciate you checking in. Shout out to Mark Henry Jr. hopping on the show for a full hour, giving us his thoughts. We had some fun. Name that Sixer. We got this dude Reeves playing for us right now, 65. He's wearing number 65 out there, white dude. And I know we're in the spot of tanking right now. And that's what the ultimate goal is. And I get all that, but this Sixers franchise is a disgrace, top to bottom. Sell the team, fire everybody. Let's just start fresh, or move us to Montreal. How about that? I know they were trying to move us to Camden. All right. Appreciate the Mark Henry Jr. joining me a little earlier. You catch him tomorrow at 11 a.m. Everybody have a great week and good luck on all of your wagers. I'll talk to you. Peace.
Save 30% on weight loss meds right now.
TryFH.com.
Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler. Now, total traffic for Philadelphia.
Busy with Friday volume. Jan on the Walt Whitman into New Jersey. Down to 42 south at Creek Road. The westbound Schuylkill bumper to bumper there past the Vine Expressway and Boulevard to Belmont. Eastbound heavy Blue Route to Belmont, then Jam Boulevard to south. The Vine Expressway headed both ways. Schuylkill to 95. 95 northbound heavy across Shrub Point Bridge. Then stop and go approaching Girard up to Bridge Street. South of 95 Jan Cottman Bridge and 420 to the Commodore Barry. Lara Tutela, total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Perfect for instant contact with an aging parent. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com and you'll get an extra 60% off, free UPS shipping, and add code radio for an extra 5% off.
Stay tuned to Fox PHL The Gambler for the latest CEOs you should know.
Sharia McRae, CEO of Foundation Academies.
Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
If you've been wanting to try Ozempic, go to tryfh.com right now. If Ozempic is effective, Future Health is next level effective. These new reports are saying Future Health is getting 58% better results. Customers are reporting they've lost 35 pounds or more in just a few months. Go now and take the quiz while their 30% off offer is still active. Get started today and you can have meds delivered to your door in 48 hours. That's tryfh.com.
TryFH.com.
Data based on independent study sponsored by Future Health. Future Health is not a healthcare services provider. Meds are prescribed at provider's discretion.
This is your Friday Sports Minute, brought to you by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas.
Conference tournaments happening in college basketball, semifinals of the ACC, Big 12, and Big East tournaments. In the NBA tonight in Miami, the Heat host the Celtics. Boston, a 7.5-point road favorite. In Philadelphia, the Sixers banged up, home against the Pacers, who are clinging to the 5th spot in the East. Pacers